Hi, everyone. Happy
Oh,
Friday. Can you believe it's our fourth Neuro Pride? Like,
I know.
serious. And we have some very familiar faces here today. So, as you may or may not know, I'm Kier. I'm one of the hosts, one of the coordinator, all that jazz. But more importantly, I am joined with Jacob Wordsmith. Hi, Jacob.
Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? I hope you're having a fantastic ride this year.
Jacob has been on the channel with us before talking about his poetry, and if you attend any meetups, you may have met him and all that loveliness, as he is one of our OG members of the community.
Nearly,
Um,
nearly, yeah.
yeah. But we're normally talking poetry, Jacob, but we're going to talk about something a bit different today. Do you want to tell them?
Yes. So, right, I've started a brand new project, like straight from scratch. It's audio horror, it's a podcast. It's definitely a horror, not for kids. Really need to push that. But it's called Baile na Gótrin, right? And Baile na Gótrin is essentially, those small Irish towns where everybody knows everybody and everybody says hello to everybody and just everybody. Yeah, it's a very closely knit community. Imagine that, but like it's run by vampires. There's an evil witch. There's a spirit in a well that's controlling people, and stuff like that. But with the same level of closely knit community sort of banter going on. And the show itself is set in the town of Gótrin with a community radio show called Gótrin Radio. And Barry Biev each week kind of commentates on a new strange thing. So there might be a missing cat, but this cat might know how to write in English and saying, I'm actually a person, someone needs to change me back. Or there's a man who's going around town and he says, you know my name, and he's just mysterious. And each week there's a new episode, a new strange thing, a new oddity, or something like that. And as well as that, during the course of at least a few episodes, there's an overarching thing of there's lights in the creek. Nobody knows why they're there. Nobody knows if somebody put them there, if they're naturally occurring. All they know is that people are being hypnotized by these lights. All they want to do is stand and stare at them. And more people in the town just want to go to the creek and look at the lights.
Amazing. So, podcast, Baile Gotrin. And we have a trailer, I think. Yes?
Yeah. I'm very
Okay.
excited. Can I say roll the clip? I've always wanted to say roll the clip. Can I say roll the clip? Pretty please. Pretty please.
Go
Please?
for it.
Oh,
Yep.
thank you. Sorry, I thought you were saying no. Roll the clip. Your children are not safe in the dark. And if any under 18s are listening to this, go home. If you can't get home right away, find somewhere where it is bright, stay there and wait. Wait until you see a clear path to either the next light source or to your home. You have to get inside, and you have to get inside now.
Amazing. Oh my God. That's such a cool trailer. Um, I know you done it yourself from our pre-chats,
Yeah.
but I have to ask, is this whole project a one-man job?
At the moment it is. I got some of my family members who are all sort of actors by one of their many trades, and I'm like, hey, look, I've got this really weird thing. I need you to play this character who is inhuman, and they're like, yeah, sure, give me lines and stuff like that. Um, but for the most part, at least for this season, it's relatively a one man job. I'd love to get more people involved later on because I have big plans for what this could be. But for the moment, yes, it's all done by me, written by me, voiced by me. The music is picked and mixed by me, the volumes, all that, everything is done by me. Yeah.
Incredible. I'm so glad to hear that. But one-man job is hard when you're producing something like this. So, how on earth does the world come to life with only one voice actor?
Well, like there's like 17, 18 episodes roughly, and I've been writing since the age of 6. I'm very, very far away from the age of 6 right now, but I haven't stopped since. So all these episodes are just short stories that I've written. Every single one of them, or most of them, anyways. And literally, it's just bring them in, change the viewpoint from like first person to the radio host who is Barry Biev of Baile na Gótrin Radio, telling this story as opposed to someone in this story. So each one of them, and I'm like, I could definitely do that voice. I could definitely do that voice. Um, Also as well, I find voice acting very fun. I've saved YouTube. I don't do it professionally. This is very much a kind of, you know, the way some people say they sing, but they sing in their shower. I voice act, but I just play around in my room with voices and stuff like that. I've even saved some YouTube things of just like, ooh, that was an interesting choice and what you do with your inflections. But I guess that with acting experience and writing experience, um, kind of that brings up the whole I can play 20, 30 different people in the one kind of scene, you know?
Yeah, I get you. That's amazing. But it is a really big project. What
Hmm.
on earth led you to make such a big change from like what we know you as for writing poetry
Yeah.
to going on to produce a podcast?
Um, I lost a lot in the space of 2 years. I had to cut a family member out. Two of my closest friends had left the country. And when a friend of mine went missing, we were part of a manhunt and we found him dead. Um, and because of that, my body just decided to know about a lot of things to the point where anything I was consuming uh, couldn't stay in my body long enough for my body to absorb the nutrients. Um, I didn't know that this was caused by this level of stress at the time. So my stress was amplified by the fact that I didn't know if I was being poisoned by the water I was drinking, something in the walls. Maybe I was gained a new allergy. Maybe this was just my body just finally numbing out of this. And I was in horrific amounts of pain. I have been hit by a car. I've had boiling water on me, and there has never been a level of pain to the kind of thing that I had just from eating and drinking. I couldn't fend for myself. I couldn't go out and do things. I couldn't stand up for long periods of time. So that's cooking out. Eventually, I just stayed in bed. And it's kind of like there's a lot of overlap between this and say burnout because you know when you've done a lot and you know that yesterday your body was able to do something and it's so infuriating that your body is just lying there now. It's a car that you know can go. It's just you have to push it today, you know. And it got worse and worse to the point where I couldn't change sheets, I couldn't clean sheets, I couldn't wash myself. And there was just this. I rarely have sensory issues, but my own smell was dreadful. But there was nothing I could do about it. On top of that, I couldn't sleep because I was scared all the time that something was going to happen to me because of my body doing this. And I was in so much pain. Like I have vivid, vivid memories of crying at 6 a.m., waiting for my body to shut down because I couldn't sleep. In all of this, I I was in and out of the hospital and they were doing a lot of tests. They weren't going to find anything because this was stress related, but the tests were incredibly invasive, painful, embarrassing. Um, and while doctors were looking after my physical health, I was looking after my mental health, and I was starting to lose interest in everything. Um, there's only so much PlayStation that you can play. There's only so much um, Netflix that you can watch. Even eventually, I remember telling my friends I was calling them and talking to them solely because that's what somebody who was mentally healthy would do. I didn't want to do that. Um, I felt I wasn't human. I didn't feel human. I felt like I was here to consume resources from the people that deserve them. And I got very scared about where that would lead because I've seen it before where they lose interest in everything and suddenly they're wondering, why would I be here? And so I got a microphone from a few years back from my family for a different project. And just randomly, I finished watching this show called The Kirlian Frequency, which is the same principle as Baile, Gótrin, except for in Argentina. So I said, I can do that. So I started writing and writing and writing. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to have to do music for this. So I studied copyright law. And then I started I've listened to hundreds and hundreds of like copyright free music to see what goes with this and stuff like that. And this podcast, this audio horror series, this freaky little thing that came in my mind was the only thing that was capturing my interest, but it was something that was capturing my interest. So I'm like, you dive into it hard and fast. And because of my ailments, I wasn't sleeping. So it was very quick to put in my 100 hours. Um, and then I realized, after um, months and months of pain and insomnia and stuff like that, I was finally enjoying something. I loved doing something, and I barely had the energy to do it, but when I could, oh, I absolutely loved it. Um, so yeah, I made episode after episode after episode, and then um, I started putting it out. Right now, I got better of February this year. So my body has started to recover, and it's kind of finally starting to feel normal again. But like I put this out, and people were losing their minds over it, which was insane to me because like I'm just passing the time. I was literally going, "There's nothing happening at 6 a.m., so I'm doing this." And like people are like, "You need to do more of this. What's this about? Who's that person? Is the talking cat going to be important?" And like it's like if um anyone else's activity for passing the time was like world renowned or like wanted to be watched. Like if I was playing games on PlayStation, everyone's like, we need to watch you doing that. Or like if I was reading a book and they're like, do that again. We want to see that again. So like it's completely blown my mind that this thing that was literally just occupying the small hours is now like being listened to and stuff like that. And people relate to it as well. Like because it's a town where it doesn't matter what you are, you exist here and you exist as part of a family, part of a community. So like it could be maybe you're neurodivergent, or maybe you're trans, or maybe you have wings, or maybe you drink blood every full moon. It doesn't matter. These people will treat you like family. And in this horror series, it's like 70% creepy, but 30% wholesome because it is a community radio. Community is the ideal word here. And the host and the town itself will make sure that everybody feels at home, whether you have teeth that could like eat a deer, or you think a little different than the rest of us. Yeah, it's absolutely blown my mind that people listen to it, people like it and stuff like that. And if this sounds like the thing for you, you should absolutely check it out.
Amazing. You said something there that I'm gonna draw attention to for a second. Firstly, I will say thank you so much for sharing all this. I got swept up in the excitement towards the end, but it'd
Yeah,
be remiss
yeah.
of me not to mention that thank you for sharing that hard time in your life. And I'm so glad that something productive came out of it for you and you were able to find your light again. Not to say that you have to do something productive when things go badly,
No, no, no.
but
This was just my way. It's a very subjective experience. And like in the same way, neurodiversity in its entirety is subjective. How I handle specific things is completely different how you handle it.
yeah. You were saying that as you were putting it out, people were getting excited for it.
Mm,
According to Spotify, it's only out like 2 weeks, so
that's true. See, I did put it out earlier, but it didn't come out the way I wanted it to. Um, so I took it down, revamped it, and all that. And now what it is because it was just in a random part of the internet. Now it's literally on every place, nearly every place that you would get your podcasts. So like Apple iTunes, Spotify, all that jazz. If you listen to podcasts, look up Baile and Gótrin. It is there. It's also on my website. But also as well, I think there's a link tree that's under or over one of these description-y places. And all the places that you could find it would be there. So like say if you don't listen to Spotify, but you listen to Apple iTunes, that link is there as well for you as well. There's also stuff on my website where there's other content as well outside of Baile and Gótrin. But yeah, everywhere you want Baile and Gótrin, you will find a link for it here.
I just really hung up on the name though. Baile and
Yeah.
Gótrin. How on earth did you come up with that?
Like half the Irish counties, Ballyaclea and all that jazz. But Nagotrin is an anagram for Tierna Nog. And I thought that was going to be a plot point later on. I'm like, nah, we're just going to keep it as a cool ass name, you know? Throughout the whole series, there's loads of anagrams or names that sound like other things and stuff like that. And as well, if you follow the Bali Negotiation socials, which are on TikTok under Baile and Gótrin and Instagram under Baile and Gótrin, not only will there be anagrams and stuff like that, there'll be codes and hidden content, and like you get to find out extra bits about the series if you're able to like solve riddles and stuff like that. Because I always wanted that. I like if my neighbor made this series, I would lose my mind. And then I'm like, what else would I want? And I'm like, I want hidden content hidden behind clues and riddles and like what does this say and what does that say, and is this an anagram for that, or are these letters in alphabetical order and stuff like that. So yeah, on the socials, there's more anagrams, more codes, more riddles on the way. Yeah.
Amazing. And yeah, like if your neighbor made this, you'd lose your mind. I
Oh yeah.
am one of those people that did lose their mind over this,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so obsessive over it. And it is incredible. But to go back, just rewind 2 seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
Name, that's incredible that it's the Turnanog and stuff. And for our international listeners that may not be aware, Baile is like Irish for the town of
Yeah,
Ballina. But I love the Irishness of it. It just
yeah.
there's I love how Irish it feels throughout the whole thing. As you said, you got your little bit of Irish lore in there as well, and mythology and stuff. You're not
Mm.
just relying on the bigger,
Yeah,
well-known.
yeah. Well, like it is an Irish town, so there's no way I couldn't have like Irish mythology and stuff like that. So there are creatures called the Auartaka who are in there. I think Cullen actually pops up in one episode as well. But as well as that, I asked historians if I was going to do X, Y, or Z, how would I like? I texted one. I'm like, how would I stop a witch? And he goes, okay, right. So what you're looking for is a magical bottle and stuff like that. I'm like using all of this, or Ossory's wolves come into it as well, shape shifting creatures who would change into a wolf, and stuff like that. So like, there's no way I couldn't. I feel like I wouldn't be doing it justice if I had a town in Ireland that didn't have Irish folklore, And I'm always constantly researching more Irish folklore to see what I can bring in, or just seeing what the overlap is between Irish folklore and other folklore across the world, because a lot of them kind of have the same kind of things. They all have the night creatures that may feast on blood and stuff like that, or the god that comes out in moonlight and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the whole way through listening, like I know it's a town based in Ireland, but it's very easy to lose the Irishness. Especially we're so Americanized with our media and stuff like this. But the whole way through Ballinagochen, it just feels like you're listening to your local radio station
Yeah, yeah,
with the
yeah.
in there with the mystery. But like it's like, oh yeah, what's your one down the road doing? Oh my god, she got a new job, this type of
Yeah, yeah,
way.
yeah.
And it's
Like,
incredible.
Mary might have gotten a new job, or maybe Mary now has a set of wings. And it's okay. Aren't we just so happy that Mary's making it in the world, no matter what she decides to do or be?
And it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. Terrifying. Lovely. And what it is so unique. It is so lovely. It is
Mm.
so. I've been praising it for ages, as you know, and I've been telling anybody like, oh my God, if you want some Irish horror, this is what you listen to. Like incredible stuff. I love how much stuff our community builds, and you're
God,
one.
yes, absolutely. They're so good at it.
I know, right? And like today, our Neuro Pride Day, we will be showcasing different people's artwork and stuff like that. We're so talented as a community.
I'm always so jealous of people who can do visual art. Like I just do the sounds and the writing stuff, but making stuff that people see that is just it's just gorgeous. It's like I'm jealous of and envious of it. Like I'm like, how dare you? That is absolutely amazing. Please do it again, you know?
No, right? But do you feel like your neurodivergencies play into your creativity at all?
Absolutely right. Because at a young age, I kind of coped with the fact that I was going to be a minority. My brain is not the same processor as the people around me. Because of this, I understand two things. I understand human interactions in a different way because I see it from an outside perspective as opposed to internally, instinctively committing to this. So like there might be social rules that I need to analyze so that I understand, as opposed to just naturally knowing these unwritten contexts that like neurotypicals just sort of go with and they just sort of know at birth. And so I watch it like a scientist almost. And because of that, I use that to my advantage and I use that to emulate characters because now I know how you'd walk in a crew if you had something on your mind while you were talking to somebody or stuff like that. Also as well, um, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be common. That is never going to happen for me, and it's never going to happen for a lot of my listeners. And the idea of a town where the uncommon is common, and not only about that, but where the uncommon has a home, has always been a place. I think that we all kind of want, you know, the amount of people I've talked to, neurodiverse people, who just said, why don't we just have a commune and, we'll have people use their special interests to make wood and stuff like that. And everybody, we'll have storytellers in the drum circle and stuff like that. Um, this is a little bit of wish fulfillment, where that I wanted my own brand of horror, but I also wanted my own brand of town. I wanted my own brand of community. And like Neuropride is so good for this because like you can literally you can show your art and people's like, that's amazing. Or you can ask questions like, I don't know why a neurotypical did this, or just I'm doing this. Is that normal? It's kind of I wanted that community and I made that community, kind of like how Neurobright does, because members of Neurobright before Neurobright wanted that community. So you guys made a community, and now look at you, like you've got that community. It's online, sometimes it's in person and all that, but people feel like they're with their own, which is a rare feeling for things like us.
Yeah, no, it is, and it is amazing. Neurodivergent people deserve communities, whether that's online, in person, or even in our little fictional worlds,
Yeah.
uh, like in our lovely town of Baile na Gótrin. So we have talked loads, and I'm so grateful for you taking the time to talk to us about this. And
Thank you
I'm
very much for having me on as well. That it means a lot, especially for having your parade. Just yeah, I love you guys.
and I am so excited to have more people listen to it so I can talk to more people about it. So before we say goodbye, two final questions. And that is there anything else you want to say that you're like, oh no, I totally did not say this?
New episodes every Friday.
Okay.
So whenever you're listening to the very worst case scenario, you're waiting 6 days for the next episode.
Amazing. And my final question then is your elevator pitch. Why should these lovely people of Neuro Pride be going off to listen?
If you're like Halloween really shouldn't be just 1 month, but maybe 11 or 12. Um, if you like, it's not for everybody. I'm totally going to admit that. And like the amount of people I've talked to, and they said dropped out after 19 seconds. I counted 19 seconds. But if you're like creepy is my vibe, wholesome is also my vibe. I want weird, wacky, wonderful, because I myself am weird, wacky, wonderful. Maybe this is the thing for you. Look, give it an episode, give it 2 episodes. They're like 10, 15 minutes, a cup of tea's worth of an episode, you know? And if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, that's okay. There's loads of other fantastic media being created by people in Europe, right? But you absolutely should give Baile Gótrin a shot. Pretty please, I'll be your best friend.
Amazing. Thank you. I'm pretty sure there's several people that are like, no, he's my best friend. Get in line. But no.
Second best friend for everybody. There we go. See,
Did we talk about your Patreon?
we did not actually.
See, this is why there's an interviewer.
Absolutely fantastic. Because Jesus, thank God I'm not relying on myself to do any of this. There is a Patreon. And for that, if for a fee, like I'm not gonna lie, there is a fee to this. Um, I'll give like regular updates on when episodes are coming out. Maybe we might do personal episodes for Patreon only and stuff like that. But yeah, like hidden details behind the scenes sort of stuff. But as well as that, if you're listening to Baile Gótrin and you're like, do you know what? I've never voice acted before. I would love to give it a shot for a fee. Now there is a fee, like, you can actually buy sort of a spot on my show. And you're like, I want to try it. I want to see. It doesn't matter what your acting ability is. It doesn't matter what equipment you have. I got you covered on that one. Or if you're listening to Baile Gótrin and you're like, do you know what? I have a fantastic idea, right? Again, for an even more expensive fee, your episode can be done. Me and you, we will work together. Again, it doesn't matter about equipment, doesn't matter if you've written before, doesn't matter about any of that. I got you covered. If you want to make your own episode of Baile Gótrin in this weird, wacky, wonderful town and have it forever immortalized, let's work together. You know, that's what the Patreon's for. Because I don't like getting things for free. I don't like that. So, like, if you invest in this, you will be getting, and the more you invest, the more you get from it. Because I want to show you my appreciation. Without your ears, this doesn't exist. This never happened. You are clear the most important part of Baile Gótrin. You always have been. So, like, I wanted to show you that, you know?
Amazing. So, if I could be so bold to summarize,
Mm-hmm.
Baile Gótrin, horror podcast, not for kids, but very wholesome, very creepy, Irish mythology, Irish based, lovely, lovely podcast that you can find on Spotify, iTunes, that's the one, and all these places if you just want to listen. If you want some like clues and little trailers, stuff like that, head on over to Instagram and TikTok. And then if you want even more bonus features behind paywall, but you would be supporting the creator being Jacob, head on over to Patreon. Yes.
Absolutely, that's everything.
Incredible. Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for listening. Make
Yeah,
sure to subscribe, all that jazz on here and over with Baile Gótrin. And if you do feel so inclined to post about this video or anything else wonderful happened today, make sure to use the hashtag Neuro Pride Day, because honestly, the 8th of August is if you want joy in your life, just look up that hashtag Neuro Pride Day, because it gives me so much joy every year seeing everything that's people are saying or showing photos and all this jazz. It's always just so wholesome. But thank you, Jacob, so much for joining us again.
thank you so much for your time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.